legal tender. But in our next story, a Nigerian banker has gone viral after candidly sharing his 16-year journey in the industry. One that started with pride and prestige, but ended with disillusionment. Now, banking was once seen as a golden career path, but unfortunately now it's now being described by insiders as draining, underpaying, and thankless. Take a look at what this banker had to say.
My 16th year of working in a commercial bank. I'm not too happy because it's like I've been used for the past 16 years, doing my work diligently. Look at the time now, I'm leaving for work as usual. It's as if I'm being used for the past 16 years. And it's like there's nothing to show for it. If not for that, commercial bank for Nigeria is not for the weak, especially if you're a junior staff. You go suffer, they go suck you like orange, they go suck you dry, and they will throw you away. But I'm still here.
Now, his story about being in the banking industry for 16 years and having nothing to show for it has, of course, sparked a wave of reactions online. And many current and former bankers are echoing similar frustrations. So the big question is, how did one of Nigeria's most respected professions become a cautionary tale? And more importantly, is the Nigerian banking sector doing enough to value its people? Now, I will say that there was a boom for banking in the 50s and the 60s. People were going into banking, and it was a very reputable profession. But let's take a look at social media. It's unfortunate that 16 years of his life in this career, nothing to show for it. Kabir says, the first day you step into the banking sector, that is when you should begin to map your exit plan. And if you want a career, then be ready to bank hop. Staying put in one bank will stagnate your career, except in very few cases where you're favored. I've been there and I've done that. We'll take one more tweet. And Apostle says, 16 years, any additional skills learned, any certifications earned, personal development plan, exit strategy. He prayed for favor like a typical Nigerian instead of thinking strategically about his next 16 years. Why would any employer consider giving such a candidate an opportunity? I do agree that he did have some responsibility in terms of upskilling himself. But team, I want you guys to, what do you guys think? Where did we go wrong in the banking industry? Where did we fail and it became, you know, a thankless industry?
Well, there was a time where banking in Nigeria, and it's not even in the 50s, I'm talking about the late 80s, where it was such a flamboyant career to go into. And after a while, that flamboyance started going down. Like one of those guys in the tweet said, you should have some strategy. If you are building a career, you just don't go there and say you have a job and you're there for 16 years. But we don't know if that is the case with this young man. So it might be a little rude to talk about it the way, in that light, thinking maybe the guy didn't improve himself and all that. The truth about it is that marketers in the banks are given very high targets to face, and we've heard all sorts of stories. And at the end of the day, it is not as flamboyant as it used to be.
All right. From my perspective, I'm also towing the line of strategy. What was his strategy when he got in? How did he plan his time while he was there? I don't know whether he had certification on anything. I think that his frustration should be a time of reflection and not putting it out on social media. Maybe he wants others to learn from his mistakes and to learn that, oh, the industry, because I know a lot of bankers who made it, who have even traveled outside the country and are making a kill out of whatever it is they were able to do or achieve in Nigeria. So it's not necessarily a sad tale for everyone in the banking sector, but it's just that how he was strategic at planning himself all this while, it's what will speak for him at the end of the day. So the lesson for anyone in any industry is to plan strategically your exit at the end of the day.
Exactly, and I'm going to be a little bit harsh with this. I tell people, how do you want to stay somewhere for 16 years? You did 1 year, you did 2 years, you did 3 years, you saw that you were not getting better, you stayed there for 16 years. Now you're out, you don't have anything, but guess what? The bank is going to be doing really well. You need to, when you're working for an organization, you always need to think about yourself as well. It's so sad to see that if that's where he's living, and this is to tell other people that whenever you get into an organization, you need to be thinking about your exit plan. You need to be thinking about how to make yourself better as well as making the company better. It's a sad story for him, and I hope that people
talk about the first story. The guy who decides to, is a very avarice for foreign currency has now landed him in prison. So I think that should be a lesson for everyone. But it should not stop at that guy. Most of our politicians only deal in dollars. That's when allocation is paid, you start seeing naira to the dollar, crashing. And then sometimes when you even meet them, when they do some transactions, it's usually in dollars. So they should extend it beyond that. That guy, private persons, they should extend it to the politicians so that we know that, yes, everyone's hands are clean.
Maybe one day we'll talk about journalism properly.